Hello everyone, it's LuxrayMogul here, and happy Sunday! I've decided to move LuxrayMogul Coverage to Sunday this week, just because I've been a little bit busy with school, and Sunday is kind of the day that I have a little bit more time before all the craziness happens. And also because I want to upload this before Monday, because Monday mornings are kind of a rush for me, and I do not want to be uploading during school, of course, because the internet is not reliable. And I definitely do not want to be uploading in the morning, waking up early in the morning, because again, you never know how long it takes to upload, and then I might miss my bus. That is way too much information that you don't care about. But anyways, today we are going to be talking about kind of a new deck that's been kind of emerging from the new release of Plasma Blast. It is kind of a out there deck that I haven't really seen too much, but probably will make a very good impact on the metagame. And of course, Vol has been hounding me to do this for the longest time, so here it is. Let's begin with the Sigilyph and Trubbish deck. And it's not advancing again. There it is. Okay, let's start with the overview. First with Sigilyph. Sigilyph is a psychic basic Pokemon with 90 hit points. Kind of low, but that's what you expect from a non-evolution basic. But anyways, it has 90 hit points, it is a psychic type, it has a weakness to electric, which may be a problem with Thunderous EX, and resistance to fighting, which could be good, might not be. Its retreat cost is also 1. We're going to talk about its ability, Toolbox, which lets Sigilyph have basically 4 Pokemon tools attached to it at a time, which is kind of breakthrough-ish because you can have all these really awesome cards like Eviolite and Rocky Helmet and Giant Cape maybe together, or maybe you could have Silver Bangle and Silver Mirror together, and that would be kind of a pretty awesome combination. So that is the main ability that we're focusing on today is Toolbox, which does look really cool. And then moving on to Trubbish, which isn't too much of a noticeable card from Plasma Storm that people would notice, but it is a 70 hit point basic Pokemon, psychic, and it has a weakness to itself, evidently, and a resistance to nothing, and a retreat cost of 2, which is a little unusual considering it is a basic Pokemon and it is kind of tiny. By the way, we aren't gonna focus on Sigilyph's attack because it's not important. No offense. But Trubbish's attack, Tool Drop, you need 1 Psychic Energy and 1 Colorless Energy, and it does 20 damage for each Pokemon Tool card attached to Pokemon in play. Don't know if you're seeing the connection yet, but we're going to talk about that right now under strategies. And it is an incredible strategy. Let's say you have a Trubbish and 2 Psychic Energy. Surprise, surprise, you have enough to attack. And you have maybe 1 Sigilyph, or maybe 2, 3, or maybe 4 Sigilyph on your bench. And let's say each of them has a tool attached to it. Floatstone, a Silver Mangle, Floatstone, and a Silver Mangle. Now, according to Trubbish's attack, if you use Tool Drop right now, that gives you a staggering 80 damage done to your opponent. And that's assuming that your opponent has no tools attached to any of their Pokemon, which is insanely awesome for a basic Pokemon. That's pretty cool. Let's say you have, I don't know, 2 more, maybe 2 more, and another 2 more until you max out 2 of the Sigilyph's ability for tools. That makes you 10 tools attached to your side only, and that is already a staggering 200 hit points damage, and that knocks out any EX. Bam! Mind blown. That is insane. The 200 damage for 10 tools. That is if you can even get 10 tools on your Pokemon, which is challenging, of course. But and still, it's not even counting how many tools your opponent has attached to their Pokemon in play, and if you add all of those up, that gives a pretty staggering damage done that Trubbish can actually do, considering it's only a basic Pokemon and you only need 2 energy to attack. So the setup is incredible, and you can get everything out incredibly fast. So that large damage output is insane, assuming you can get all the tools out, but your opponent and your own tools. So wow. That is mind-blowing. But let's talk about some of the other techs that you can also run. As you know, Sigilyph Trubbish is a very tool-centered deck, so obviously you will need to get some really cool tools that might be useful, including Silver Mirror and Silver Bangle. Mostly Silver Mirror, especially because Trubbish will, for 70 hit points, Trubbish will be knocked out pretty fast. So in order for you to kind of at least protect it a little longer, Silver Mirror definitely would help Trubbish. You can't have more than one tool on Trubbish though, so Silver Mirror definitely would be pretty useful, because that would allow you to prevent all damage and all effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by Pokemon EX. But no, not by Pokemon EX, sorry, by Team Plasma Pokemon. And looking at how prominent Team Plasma Pokemon are in this metagame so far, especially with Lugia, not even Lugia right now, Deoxys, Thundurus, Kyurem, and of course Genesect and Virizion. Definitely Silver Mirror will be very useful for Pokemon that are not running Team Plasma Pokemon on their hands, especially like Trubbish and Sigilyph. And definitely if Team Plasma Pokemon are on the other side, you can't touch this deck. Trubbish, they can't touch Trubbish or Sigilyph at all completely because of the crazy ability that Trubbish has with Silver Mirror. Silver Bangle lets you do 30 more damage to active Pokemon EX, so although not as good as Silver Mirror, it would assist Trubbish in maybe doing that little extra damage that you need to knock out a Pokemon EX. Floatstone and Rescue Scarf. Floatstone probably not as much, but Floatstone definitely would help you kind of move around stuff if it just so happens that Sigilyph was dragged up, because obviously Sigilyph isn't meant to attack. So if it happens to set up, Floatstone will definitely be a great way to have a tool attached to Sigilyph, and give it an easier way to retreat if it ever gets pulled up and you need a Trubbish to attack. And of course Rescue Scarf, in case your Trubbish or your Sigilyph get knocked out. Rescue Scarf definitely would be very useful in kind of just keeping them in check if you ever need them. So definitely these two are very useful cards. Eviolite and Rocky Helmet. I don't know, these probably aren't as good anymore considering the new Silver Bangle and everything that's coming out, and Silver Mirror, but these are definitely very useful cards to put onto Sigilyph if it ever happens to be dragged up during a turn that's not your own and it gets attacked. And definitely Eviolite would reduce the damage, and Rocky Helmet would put damage on the opponent, which is pretty good, and you can pretty much attack without attacking. It's only 20 damage, but it is a really good, useful thing to attach to Sigilyph because it is a tool. Giant Cape, of course, it's not as prominent in the game right now, but again, as tool fodder, Giant Cape definitely would assist Trubbish, maybe give it an extra boost of 90 to 90 and Sigilyph to 110. It won't be too much extra, but it could be a little extra, and could be the difference in the game, in winning the game or not. Life Dew as well. Life Dew is an A-Spec, so because you can only have one A-Spec in your deck, definitely consider carefully which A-Spec you want to run. But Life Dew, I find, is pretty useful because it is a tool, and if for whatever reason your Pokemon happen to be knocked out, then they don't get a prize for that, and they basically are forced to knock out an extra Pokemon. And Trubbish being such, no offense, but such a weak Pokemon with so little hit points, definitely knocking out an extra one would be able to buy you a little bit of extra time to maybe knock out another attack. Now, I didn't put this on the slide, but it also is a very important time to watch out, to mention now, to watch out for Enhanced Hammer. Not Enhanced Hammer. What is the one that... Tool Scrapper, that's the one. Tool Scrapper definitely will be very prominent in this upcoming metagame for sure, because there are a lot of tools that are being run, especially with Floatstone and Silver Bangle, Silver Mirror. So definitely watch out for Tool Scrapper, because that will definitely be able to throw off your strategy. But yeah. Some other staples that you could have, Level Ball, which allows you to, again, search your Pokemon, to search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 hit points or less. Trubbish and Sigilyph both have 90 hit points and less, so, it shouldn't be a problem for you to get it. Hypnotoxic Laser, again, is poisoned. Hypnotoxic Laser runs really well with Burbank City, again, and that also helps you to put that little extra damage on your opponent before your attack, just to make sure, after your attack, just to make sure if your opponent doesn't get knocked out, that it does get knocked out after being poisoned. And finally, Skyla. If you ever need, obviously this would probably be your last resort, but if you ever need a trainer card very, very badly, Skyla is obviously a staple right now and allows you to get any trainer that you want. So it is very, very important, and it's a very awesome kind of addition to your deck if you decide to include it. Now, overall impressions, I am going to give it a 4 out of 5, just because Sigilyph and Trubbish are both really, they don't have too many hit points. That is the weakest point of them, is that they don't have that many hit points, and it makes them very susceptible, I can't talk, very susceptible to many other EXs, very powerful Pokemon, and also other Plasma decks that can attack with a lot of damage, unless you are able to get the Silver Mirror and all that stuff out in time. So I think that is one of the biggest weaknesses of this deck, are the few hit points and how easy it is for an opponent, for example, to knock it out with something else, like even with a non-Plasma Pokemon. So that Silver Mirror doesn't even work. But it's very easy to knock them out even in one shot. So definitely that's definitely one of the things that weakens it quite a bit. It doesn't need too much energy to run. The deck doesn't need too much energy to run, so it does get points in that area. But on that note, it is very difficult to get out tools and all that stuff that is necessary for you to basically knock out like 200 damage every turn. And also that makes the deck kind of a little unreliable, because Pokemon does involve a little bit of luck, and with luck comes sometimes very difficult days when you can't get any tools out, and of course any tools you do get out, they get tool scrapped. So that, I see that being the running out of tools and also the low hit points are probably the two weakest things about this deck. So yeah, that is all for today for Sigilyph and Trubbish. Thank you everyone for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what you think about this deck, and tell us what maybe I should do next week. Alright, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see y'all later.